In today's video, we'll cover 6 specific tips that boosted my BMAT score significantly and helped me get into my dream medical school. Whether you're only planning to start your BMAT preparation or already lost count of how many past papers you did, I hope you can find something for yourself. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Alright, the tip number 1 is to practice as many past papers as you can and practice all of them under timed conditions. Even when you're doing the first past paper to see how the format of the exam looks like, just open a timer on your phone or laptop and peek at it from time to time to learn the pace of the exam. And as you expose yourself to more and more questions, you'll learn to intuitively feel how much time you can spend per question, what shortcuts you can use, or what traps the authors of the BMAT often set up, all of which can help you get those extra points. And the next tip applies to both section 1 and section 2 of the BMAT and was by far the biggest game changer for me. Many topics and question types, as you may know, come up every year on the BMAT, and at some point I realized that I've been making the same mistakes over and over again. And that's why I created a massive Notion document where I just screenshotted the questions I got wrong and I would then write down an answer next to it with an explanation. And then importantly, every time before I wrote a section 2 mock, I'd go through all of these questions one by one and remind myself of what the proper thinking patterns were for those questions. Now, tips number 3. Although you can find the official syllabus for the BMAT section 2 on the Cambridge admissions website, a large chunk of the topics that are specified there don't come up on section 2 at all, or do very rarely. However, there are a couple of topics that come up all the time, almost every year, so it's really important that you know these topics inside out, as they are almost guaranteed to come up on your BMAT exam this year. And these include genetics and homeostasis for biology, stoichiometry and moles for chemistry, electricity and waves for physics, and algebra for maths. The largest challenge of the section 2 of the BMAT is, however, the time pressure. You only have around 30 minutes to do 27 science questions, and that's why it's so important that you use the very limited time you have to maximize the number of points you can get. Since each question is worth the same amount of points and there are no negative points, you should prioritize simple questions, so those that require you to just recall a fact or do a one-step calculation instead of those multi-step problems. And spotting the more complex questions is something that definitely comes with practice, and so the more you practice, the quicker you'll be at spotting these questions. However, equally, please don't fall into the trap of skipping too many questions, as you'll waste more time than you'll gain. Now, let's move on to talking about top tips for the section 3 of the BMAT. Before you sit down to write your essay, it is important that you choose wisely a question and plan out your essay, okay? After you choose the question you think you can write the most about, start brainstorming ideas for your arguments and counter-arguments. Write down everything that comes to your mind and only then move on to elaborating on those points and organizing them so that they follow a logical structure. And all of that, of course, still on your planning sheets, still before starting to write down the actual essay. You need to check for yourself how much time you personally need, but we would recommend around 2 to 3 minutes for choosing the title and thinking about which title you can write the most about, and the next 8 to 10 minutes for planning the essay. I know this may sound a bit counterintuitive, since 30 minutes sounds like very little time to write something from start to finish, but as you'll start doing it, you'll realize how much time it actually saves you as you just type things down without having to constantly stop to think. And lastly, please don't overthink or overstress about the essay, okay? The word essay suggests that what you write in your section 3 should be this super sophisticated and unique piece of writing, one that will impress the people reading it. And as a result, many candidates lose a lot of time thinking about how to best structure their sentences or what vocabulary to use, and initially I was guilty of it myself. But in reality, although it's called an essay, it's really like a 3 to 5 paragraph commentary that you shouldn't be scared of, that you shouldn't overthink. Remember that a full essay written in plain formal language is much better than an unfinished one. So after planning your essay, just write it down as fast as you can, treating it just as a draft, so that you can have a couple of minutes by the end to double check it and correct any linguistical mistakes. So in summary, first of all, practice under timed conditions as many past papers as you can. Second of all, keep track of your mistakes and you review them regularly. Number 3, focus on the high yield material for section 2. 4, learn to triage the questions, but at the same time don't overskip. Number 5, for your section 3, remember to spend 2 to 3 minutes choosing the question and then the next 8 to 10 minutes brainstorming ideas and planning out your essay. And lastly, don't overthink the essay. It doesn't have to be anything super sophisticated. Try to aim for a well-structured short piece of writing. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it useful, please leave thumbs up under it and subscribe to our channel to see more videos like this in the future. And you may also want to check out our first of its kind interview preparation platform at medfully.co.uk for the later stage of your application process. See you next week.